YouTube, vinyl community, David Bowie fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we are here today to talk about David Bowie's 1975 album, Young Americans. One of my favorite releases from him. Came out in March of 1975, March 7th to be exact. It ended up going platinum, hit number 9 in the US, number 2 in the UK. So an amazing showing for Mr. Bowie. This is a total departure from what he had been doing at this point, and even a few albums in, he was starting to change. I mean, even starting with Space Oddity, or his first album, up to Ziggy Stardust, there's a definite change there. And then on the tour for the Diamond Dogs album, things really started to change. Like, that album had a little bit of a different flavor to it, but live, it was taking off. Once Bowie was in America and on tour, basically he started with one band and ended with a different band. By the time they went from one, across country, and then came back, it was a whole different group, and it was a much more soulful version of the songs that he was playing. And he was really getting lost in this, like, Philadelphia sound and this vibe, this soul scene that was there. Just getting immersed in it. He absolutely loved it, and so he started to jam around with some new people and try to get some different musical texture added to his lyrics and his whole style, and just changed it up, as we would come to expect Bowie over the years, never doing the same thing twice, and just shaking it up as he went along. So, this whole album, for me, is absolutely fascinating, because just as much as he is a central figure of the voice, the background singers on this album are equally as important, because they play a lead vocalist role just as much as David Bowie does. Really giving this album a unique flavor that not a lot of his other records have, where, like, there's such a heavy influence, on the background vocals, when that really hadn't been too much of a case beforehand. So while he was rearranging different versions of his older songs with, new arrangements, to use the same word twice, he ran into Luther Vandross, and he got back in touch with Tony Visconti, and so they all got together and started the sessions for this album, which was originally going to be called The Gouster, which I think was what it was called, yes, The Gouster, which there was a version of it that was released a couple years ago on a box set where they combined a bunch of these albums together. So a couple of tracks got left off of what was going to be The Gouster and then became Young Americans as he wrote more songs, and they kind of fleshed it out. But this album, I absolutely love this album. For me, it's easily one of his best. So with that, Young Americans opens this thing. Title track. It's a really silky smooth, really cleanly produced song. I love the saxophone lead on this song, and on all the songs. Really, there's very few guitar parts that really stand out, except for, like, Fame and some other, like, riffy stuff. Guitar solos don't really happen on this album. It's mostly sax solos, and Dave Newmark plays the sax on this album, and Bowie was really saying, like, hey man, like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Or Dave Sanborn, I'm sorry, Andy Newmark plays the drums, Dave Sanborn plays the sax. So before I start typing away down there, I got it. So yeah, really, really cool vibe on this track. I mean, I love the touches of drums, there's a little bit of bongos here and there. The acoustic guitar that's buried underneath is a really nice little bass for the rhythm track. A really interesting song just about relationships and back and forth and being in America, and creating these characters that are just going through daily existence in the early 70s in America, and what that life could have been like for their relationship and the culture that surrounds them, and where they see their future and how to go about their normal lives with everything that's happening at the time. Pretty heavy stuff, but it's a really catchy song. And once again, I mean, the chorus itself is so catchy. Especially the background singers, popping in with him. And you get to that part where, one damn song that can make me break down and cry, and then you get to that drum break that comes back in. It just stays in your head. It makes you want to dance. It's got a really good groove to it. Excellent opening track. And I think showcasing his new sound, starting with a song like that, is a very wise move. Which leads us to the next song, Win. I really do enjoy this song. This guy has a really cool groove on it as well. The chorus on this one, again, what a hook. I mean, that dun 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 dun, like, it's such a, apparently he just wrote it to write it for the album, but it really works. It's got a lot of heart behind it. I feel like it's got a lot of soul behind it. I think the lyrics in the song are great, but for me, I'm going to use this phrase a lot for this album, feel. This album has a lot of feel and soul. I mean, it was meant to be a soul album, so he successfully did that on this album. All you've got to do is win, and he did it. Fascination, very cool song, very funky. I love the drums on this one. This is where the guitar picks up a little bit. The vocal interplay on this song, and then continuing through the rest of the album, is intense. The way that Bowie will sing a line, the background singers will sing a line, the way they mix and match together, the way they flow in and out and weave to create this texture of lyrical interplay is the best word I can use. I mean, it's so fun to listen to and so quick-witted. It's really quick. There's a great video of them rehearsing the song right somewhere, and watching them figure out how to get these parts together is great. Yeah, I mean, this song, it definitely sounds mature, it's fun, but it also sounds like he's a seasoned vet in the soul scene. It just comes so naturally to him. Like, at this point in the album, you're so used to his voice, you're so used to the feel, you're so used to the whole groove. You're immersed in this world of David Bowie's soul singer, and the professionalism that is executed here, beyond the fact that they had some really great session players on this album, everything's really tight and really well rehearsed and really well choreographed, making for a very, very fun listen. Which leads you to Right, which again, another song that just blows your mind with how much detail and lyrical interplay and vocal interplay there is. It's an amazing track. I really feel like this song is a group to just show off what they can do, which I think is awesome. A little bit of a guitar solo in that one, but super tight musicianship. I mean, you can't get any tighter than that. Side 2, Somebody Up There Likes Me. This is one of my favorite Bowie songs of all time, I think. For me, it almost feels like all of side 1 was gearing up for side 2, where they were just like, okay, if you thought side 1 was good, hang in there, because Somebody Up There Likes Me is about to come on. That solo, that sax solo was unbelievable. The really punctual, crisp drum sound that they achieve. The bass is in all the right spots. The piano is just doing its own thing. Bowie sounds like he's having a hell of a lot of fun, being really, really excited about this new fresh sound that he's got. You know, reinvigorated by this band that's behind that. That's so extraordinarily talented. That you can tell that he feels honored to be playing with these people and wants to perform to the best of his abilities to make everyone else happy, which just cheers each other on. Because when you're performing at your best, it's going to make everyone else want to do their best as well. So you really get that vibe on a song like this. The hand claps near the end. I love the carrying production that the song has. There's a really good feel on this one. Again, I'm using the word feel, but really heartwarming. I feel like it's got a really endearing vibe. It's just a nice, comfortable, catchy track, and there's little bits of vocal riffing, I guess you can say, that happens throughout, where the ooh ooh, I can't do it. Bowie can do it. I love that stuff. Very, very good track. Then you get Across the Universe, which I actually really enjoy this song. A lot of people don't like his version, but I think it's very cool, especially because he puts his own Bowie spin on it, and especially by the end, with the whole nothing's gonna change it, nothing's gonna change it, the way he's like just aggressively owning the song and, you know, pouring himself into the mood and the spirit and just showing that the world and this song could be his own little bubble here. So he took something that was already universally loved by the Beatles and then totally made it his own thing, and it works so well. I really do dig that a lot. He just jumps in and gives it a whole new life, which I guess for the most part it's an unexpected track to cover, to take a folksy hippie song and put it onto a really soulful, deep album. Kind of a gutsy move, but he pulls it off. He executes it extraordinarily well, so he did it. Can You Hear Me is a really nice, calm, reflective track. Subdued guitars throughout this thing. I really love the beautiful vocal accompaniment on this one too. I can totally see Prince doing this one, like totally, hands down. Prince could nail this song. Love the isolated vocals at the end. Very cool track. Fame. What more can be said about this song? It's an absolute groove. That rhythm, you know, John Lennon is here. He helped write it. I think you can hear him vocally in bits and pieces in the background there. I mean, it went to #1. The guitars on this thing are absolutely epic. The drum beat has so many weird off-kilter moments that just keep your attention because you feel like you're dancing along to it, then it throws you for a loop, and you're like, oh, okay, you gotta keep up. Love it. The drumming on this track in particular, I think is the best drumming on this entire album. In terms of a dancey riff, I think the rest of the drums are also fantastic because they know how to lay down a really solid groove and also not take over the show. This one allows the drums to take over the show. Absolutely love this song. But yeah, I mean, this album as a whole, I mean, it flies by for me, and all the big players on here between Luther Vandross, Carlos Alomar, which he would go on to have like a 30-year career with on guitar. Earl Slick's on here somewhere too, I think. Yep, Earl Slick is there. And then so much of the influence behind this thing of the Philly soul scene and what Luther Vandross brought to this thing too. It's just an awesome track, awesome album. I cannot say enough about it. This copy in particular is a little waterlogged. Apparently it was in someone's basement at some point, but it plays pretty well. It's the only copy I have of this album. It's extremely hard to find, like most of Bowie's albums. But on the inside, you got all the words, which I think is really cool. And then that classic RCA logo. Yeah, overall, this has always been one of my favorite Bowie albums. I think because it's just got so much fun smashed into the grooves. The character of this album is unlike anything else he ever did. I mean, Station to Station definitely has a vibe that grew out from this album, but doesn't wear its predecessor on its sleeve. You know, at this point, this album really is kind of a standalone thing, and I think it's just of its time and where Bowie was at that point in his life. Drugs. But, you know, there's a quote somewhere saying that, you know, even if he wasn't on drugs, he still would have written these songs. Which I would believe that. I mean, he was such a talented guy, constantly changing. But yeah, Ava Cherry, Robin Clark, Gene Feinberg, they were all backup singers. Diane Sumler, and then Luther Vandross. But yeah, John Lennon is on here on Fame. It says it right in the back. Totally missed that. Look at that. Here's the back cover. Really kind of simple back cover, but love the look of this album too. It's the cover, it just looks so cool on there. Just a whole different vibe from even 2 years earlier, or 3 years earlier, you know, with Aladdin Sane and Ziggy Stardust. This is the same guy. And even on Diamond Dogs, he still had the big crazy hair, but this time it's a little more calm. This album for me, I'm going to say a 10 out of 10. This album never grows old for me. I've been playing it for 1,000 years. I've never gotten tired of it. It still sounds fresh and exciting, and it just puts you in a mood. There's a whole different frame of mind that you go to. It goes to a whole different space when you put this album on. And I absolutely love it because of that. You know, he was such a talented dude, and he always worked with really talented people to help bring his visions to life. So, very smart, as well as talented. So, that's it. My name is Giggens. This has been David Bowie, Young Americans. Absolutely love this album. 10 out of 10. What do you guys think about it? And, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.